Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. Without further ado, I think we'll start with this session. I think this is a very critical session in the sense that funding and investors are very critical to the startup ecosystem, right, and for the growth of the startup ecosystem. I'll start this discussion with Pearl, right? So, Pearl, you've been on both the sides, right? So, as an entrepreneur, what were the three top challenges that you faced? As a woman entrepreneur, what were the top three challenges that you sort of faced? And today, so the second part of the question is that today as an investor. How have you sort of, when you're evaluating a venture which is sort of being led by a woman, how does that sort of factor into the, the evaluation of that business plan, which is being led by a woman entrepreneur today?
So I want to put a context here because I've taken very little note of the fact that I'm a woman for the past 20 years that I've been in business. And it was, I come from an engineering background, and the reason I'm giving this context is because it's something that struck me as a woman entrepreneur. I come from an education background where I was one in a 120 boys class. Then I went to IIT, and then again there was same kind of demographics, gender demographics. And I think I built a shield around myself saying, I don't have to take note of the fact that I'm a woman, because if I did, I wouldn't get to do all the fun things those guys were doing, right? Or all the opportunities they had. So academically, I got myself therein, but after that, I built a shield which said, it doesn't make a difference. And I think that's why I got that far, because I said it doesn't make a difference. But when I came in contact with the VC industry, I realized that there are no women there. Not that it made a difference to me, but I realized I was meeting them for the first time, which was a big minus. Because the men who were raising capital at the same time, they already knew these guys, right? The relationships were there. Sure. That helps. It didn't, again, I'm saying I was building something formidable at that time, so it did not become a constraint, but that's something that I noted. The other thing that I noted was that, yes, there are biases. There are biases in VCs. VCs being mostly men, they network within the men's group. As a VC, what struck me again was there are very few women entrepreneurs, which is something I did not realize as a woman entrepreneur. Because I was so busy building the company that I was building, it never even struck me how many other women are building. As a VC, we see very few quality applications from women. US stats of the VC world is 4% of funding goes to women, and there are about 4% women VCs there, approximately. In India, if we see 100 applications, we see 3 or 4 applications from women, and after that, there are many. Like I'm just talking about, for every one investment we make, we may see around 100. And in those 100, there are only about 4 or 5 applications that came from women. So there is a real dearth of women entrepreneurship. And as a VC, I think the VCs are not seeing enough quality women entrepreneurs. So that has to change for us to see the stats changing. I think we'll go on with the discussion, and maybe I can.
I'll come to the quality part a little later. But Anita, you are part of Lead Angels group, right? And that's an angel network. So we have an angel network representation. What is your take on having more women entrepreneurs and the funding side of it? Because as investors, we are continuously looking at what are the kind of returns that are going to happen. I mean, are we bringing in enough of sensitivity while we are evaluating these businesses? Are we being a leader in what you do, right? What's your take on this?
So just to sort of add to what Pearl said, there is of course a dearth of women entrepreneurs. So we don't really see too many women coming for funding, and if they come in, one of the key factors that I notice, and just like Pearl mentioned, I don't consider myself a woman in this world because you forget that you're a woman in the business world. The one significant aspect I see is confidence. The women that come for funding to us, and very few of them come, they clearly lack confidence, because when they come and make their pitches, it's largely around, it almost seems like they're apologetic for being there. The preparation that goes into their business plans is far less than what you would see in other business plans, because what guys really do is, if 2 or 3 men get together, they find complementary skills between themselves. They come up with these business plans which are far more superior. and they are able to build that network of advisors. So we see that when people come with business plans, they will highlight the advisory board that they have put together. At least I've noticed that the few women that come, they don't bring that, that depth in their business plans. So when we are looking at funding, we're not looking at, this is a woman that has come. We are looking at proof of concept. We are looking at, whether this entrepreneur is going to click it in the sense of, really build something. And it doesn't really matter which gender it is. The factors that we consider as a group, one, like I said, proof of concept. How good is this idea? Is it something that we can see in a commercial sense, building in the future? Finally at the end of it, do we click with that entrepreneur? Sure. Or that team that comes? Because, the idea is as good as the person who's bringing it. So if we don't believe that these people are able to, have that, the chemistry with us, and that we can mentor them and they value our opinions, etc., then it's a lose-lose.
So you manage the murmurs, like Pearl said, right? So,
sorry?
So I'm saying you manage the murmurs in certain ways. So Paula, that brings me to you. So as Seedfund, you do not typically go through that structure where there's so many people who are participating in a company that comes up or a startup that comes up that you're looking to make investment in. It's just about 3 or 4 people, who are as your IC, right, who would make the decision. What are the numbers, and what is your larger sort of sense in terms of how the scene is panning out?
Yeah, so we are an institutional venture capital fund, and I have to say that we are 2 women partners and 3 male partners. So we are, maybe it is not representative of the VC community in general. I think numbers are right. There are lesser women as VCs, but we are sort of, weighing in there. What I found is that women are hesitant to raise institutional funds or outside funds because, like she said, maybe there's a lack of confidence. But the women that we have seen who have come up to our level are, again, they forget, like Pearl said, that they are women. They are as good or better than any of the men. In fact, we see them extremely committed. And I don't think we worry whether they'll have a baby and stop this because they have skin in the game. It's not like a job that they're going to leave. So it is another baby that they are having. So in fact, we give a lot of credibility to a woman who is pitching to a VC. And I think we understand that this venture is going to be another baby in their life. And she will multitask and manage it. So if at all, I think there's a positive. The 3 women that we have funded are extremely committed, extremely passionate. They've not looked back at all. There is an ecosystem issue, which is, yes, there are a lot of men's groups and so on. And that, I think, platforms like this can add to that.
So, Sairee, that brings me to you, right? So there's the quality issue, something that is highlighted, right? And you are an entrepreneur, and you're doing, you're advocating of a very, very relevant cause, right? What do you think, and I mean, how can we sort of look to improve the quality? I mean, what is it that you are doing right that a lot of entrepreneurs in the audience can pick to learn from?
It's interesting. I think, so while we agree that gender per se is not a criteria for assessment, but somewhere I think if you look at the, let's look at the context of outside of this room. Let's look at a very macro level, the number of women in workforce, number of women in entrepreneurship, the number of women getting funded, the number of women in leadership. I think if you stack all macro numbers, we obviously know that women are yet not there. And obviously it's not a lack of capability. The sense I get, I run a career platform for women. Obviously, the distinct trend that we see all across is corporate India's loss is entrepreneurship's gain. But that gain is not the VC world's gain yet. So somewhere this whole bunch of women who are turning entrepreneurial but are not getting into the let's build large scalable business, let's raise big funding mode. I think if we have to grow women entrepreneurship piece and we want to say let's have women-led ventures taking 20% of the capital or 30% of the capital 5 years from now, then I think we have to start looking at the ecosystem as a whole. And if you push 600 women out there with whatever kind of business they are doing, you will definitely get 60 businesses which are pitchable, fundable, scalable. So I think the maths needs to change and also the semantics needs to change slightly. Our view of how the VC world functions, I'm a single founder, I run a women-led platform. So for us, we're a category creator. So it took me a little while to get to the VC community to tell them that we are not NGO, we could be a large fundable business, but maybe we don't look like that because we are not within the space. So it took a while, and there are a lot of these newer initiatives. I met somebody who's building a program to Mera Buddy. Are you in the room? Okay, you're here. She told me, she walked up and she said she's building a program which is teaching computers to elderly, right? Now, I think more and more women are experimenting with new models of products and services.
So